Hey, it's Annie Grace. I hope everybody is doing great. I just wanted to come and make this quick video. I actually got a question today that I thought it was totally appropriate. I just got done exercising myself and I thought that it was totally appropriate to respond to this question, make a quick video. The question is, do you really lose weight when you stop drinking? And there's no easy answer to that. Everybody is really different. I'd say enough people lose weight that it is kind of a thing that you could lose a few pounds for sure when you stop drinking. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. Number one, your body stops retaining so much water because when you're drinking, you're really depleting your hydration levels on a cellular level. It is very, very dehydrating. Alcohol itself, if you think of a beer, like a 5% beer, it's basically 95% water, but there is enough alcohol, that 5% of alcohol in the beer is so dehydrating that it overcomes and further depletes your hydration levels from drinking the 95% water. So those 12 ounces of what's basically water in beer are not going to hydrate you as opposed to that 5% of alcohol because it's a diuretic. It's making you pee. It's taking the water from your cells and things like that. So your body, as a response to that, bloats sometimes. So when you're dehydrated, you can actually bloat because your body's trying to retain water and hold on to water. And so people can lose a lot of water weight when they stop drinking because your body breathes this huge sigh of relief and you're like, oh, okay, phew, if I can let go of some of that. A lot of people actually do lose fat. I mean, alcohol is very high in caloric density. So alcohol, it's kind of a myth that alcohol has a lot of sugar. Alcohol itself doesn't have a lot of sugar, actually has no sugar, but it mimics sugar in the body because it is so high in terms of its caloric density. So what that means is I think, fat is 9 calories per, I forget the measurement, and alcohol is 8. So it's really close to fat and sugar in terms of how much energy it has per volume. So very dense calorically, very dense energetically. But of course, alcohol has no nutrients. So if you're going to eat something, at least like fat, you're still getting nutrients. You're still getting a lot of benefit from that. So you're consuming a lot of course, the word is empty calories and very dense empty calories. So a lot of calories without any nutrients to back it up. And so when you're doing that, you can feel full. I mean, I literally was drinking so much wine that I was feeling full. I was eating very little food when I was drinking so much wine, but I wasn't actually getting a lot of nutrients. And so your body will go through a readjustment phase. And for some people, that does look like actually losing weight. But for some people, it looks like gaining weight and getting healthier. There's a thing called Drunkorexia, which is basically that you're just consuming all of your calories in alcohol and your body is almost starving because it's not getting any nutrients outside of alcohol. So it really, really varies. There's so much that goes into it. Another thing that does happen, though, is that alcohol, it numbs your prefrontal cortex in the moment and over the long term. And your prefrontal cortex is a part of your brain that you use to make really good, solid decisions. So when you're at 3 a.m. and drinking, and I'm laughing because this was my story, and Taco Bell sounds like a great idea, you might eat way more at way different times of day than you would ever eat if you weren't drinking. So there is this lack of inhibitions and numbing of the prefrontal cortex. And a lot of people think oh, that makes you more of yourself. You really become more of yourself. That's not actually true at all. Your highest self is in your prefrontal cortex and is in those making decisions now for the future you. That is the best, most evolved version of you. And so to numb that and take that away, you just become more animalistic. And in that animalistic nature, you would just put whatever you want into your body without really thinking about it because you no longer have the ability, literally neurochemically, because alcohol has impaired it, to make those really good decisions about your health and nutrition for later. So when that stops, a lot of people do see huge results in health. And sometimes that manifests in weight, but I think even more important than weight is just how you feel. And people really feel great. Their body can be consuming calories that actually have nutrients, energy that actually has nutrients for the first time. They're making really thoughtful decisions about what to put in their body instead of drunken decisions where, again, the prefrontal cortex has been numbed and they aren't actually able to make really forethought decisions about what you're eating. And so that has a huge impact on overall health, even more so than weight. And I think that would be almost the biggest takeaway here is there's so much focus on weight. And in my journey, I have realized that I was just as kind of judgmental and miserable in my body like 10 pounds ago, 20 pounds ago, 30 pounds ago. I mean, literally. And when I realized that and I look back at my thinnest points in my life where I weighed the least, and I think about what I was thinking and what I was telling myself in my head, I realized I wasn't at peace. So, very similar to how I say that in terms of drinking, I don't actually want to be sober. I want to have peace and freedom. I want alcohol to be small and irrelevant. So I've not made this a behavior-based goal, like I'm never going to drink again. That's not my goal. My goal is to have total peace in my relationship with alcohol, to feel totally free, to not ever feel controlled by it, to not ever feel like, I used to feel, which is just my entire life was revolving around when I would drink and how much I would drink and what I would say or do that I would regret later and all of these sorts of things. And so when I changed that focus from like this behavior, when I was focusing on my behavior, which was to drink less, I was actually making myself really miserable. And ironically, I was starting to drink more. Same with my weight. When I was focusing on my weight, which was to weigh less and therefore to eat less and therefore to exercise more, I was making myself, it was this yo-yo thing, and I was making myself much more miserable. But I've recently shifted, and I think it's a really profound shift, to making my goals not about the behavior, but about how I want to feel. And through that, I realized that I wasn't peaceful at my thinnest. Internally, mentally, I wasn't peaceful. I had awful judgmental thoughts about my body at my thinnest. So now my goal has shifted. It's not about being thin or weight or a number on a scale. It's actually about feeling peaceful in my body. I personally did lose weight when I stopped drinking, but I got so much healthier. And so I would really encourage you to look at it that way. I mean, I know losing weight can be a massive motivator, but I think health, hopefully we can make it that health is a better motivator. And interestingly, once I've shifted that, once my goal is no longer about like, okay, I want to eat less, which is a behavior goal, or I want to exercise more, which is a behavior goal, and I moved that to like, I want to feel at peace around food, and I want to feel at peace and content and accepting of my body. That has changed everything for me, because now, guess what? I enjoy food and I enjoy exercise. And I'm not saying I have all the answers or I have it all figured out, but sometimes I just wanted to do like a side note to this question, that sometimes the, maybe the goal is driving anxiety. And so sometimes I would look at the goal, like, how does it make you feel? Because even again, at my thinnest, not only did I feel nasty stuff about me, I also felt, one donut away from, binging or like having a really, have the scale increase, stuff like that. So I didn't feel peaceful, but I also felt super judgmental, not only of myself, but of other people in my life. So it wasn't a very peaceful place. So anyway, that was super tangential. The question is, does alcohol help you lose weight, or giving up alcohol? Does it help you lose weight? And I would say in most cases, for most people, there is some weight loss, but much more importantly, there is a huge amount of health gained and peace gained, because you are no longer beating yourself up for food decisions that you may or not even remember that you made in a drunken stupor. You are coming to a place where you are really making good, thoughtful food decisions with all of your brain and the most human, most evolved part of your brain, which is your prefrontal cortex, which again gets completely impaired during a drinking bout. So hopefully that helps. There's a lot more information about this and how alcohol actually does crazy things in your body, like when your body's processing alcohol, it inhibits your body's ability to digest food because it's so focused on purging alcohol from the system. And that, of course, results in you feeling hungry, even though you've just eaten, because the food in your stomach is not being accessed by all the parts of your body that needs it. So overeating can be a really big thing because of that physiological aspect when you're drinking. And so there's a lot more information to know about this, but I think in general, it does help most people lose weight, but maybe, shifting from it being a weight-based goal to being a peace in your body, peace around food, and a health-based goal, I think for me at least, has served me really well. Have you tried the alcohol experiment? Okay, if not, drop everything and go to thisnakedmind.com/experiment. This free 30-day challenge is designed to interrupt your patterns and put you back in touch with the best version of you. You remember it was that version of you that's living your most joyful life, the version that doesn't need alcohol to relax or to have a good time and is having more fun than ever. And again, this is a totally free challenge that will change everything for you. So learn more and join me 100% free at thisnakedmind.com/experiment. And as always, rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, as it truly helps the message reach somebody who might need to hear it today.